I just like that song, so you get another video. That's it. That's the only way you get them. I'll try and keep in line with the other one. Today you're going to get a few videos. Oh, I got out of church, went to the flea market, and I'm going to go to Port Aransas right now. Oh, I could probably talk a little bit. It was Revelation 7, one of the great worship scenes in heaven and on earth. And all blessing and honor, glory and power be unto the Ancient of Days. From every nation, all of creation, bow before the Ancient of Days. Every tongue in heaven and earth shall declare your glory. Every knee will bow at your throne and worship. You will be exalted, O God, and your kingdom will not pass away, O Ancient of Days. I, John, saw the heavenly city, the New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, descending just like a bride prepared for her husband. Those are great images. As you know, the last few videos I've been doing that one little incident. But that turned out to be a good example, actually, because it showed you just what I've been talking about. I was thinking of, you say, John, you go to New York a lot, and you also critical of those guys. It's not without cause, the New York City Police Department. It's not without cause. When one Mayor de Blasio, now he's very liberal, and I'm not talking politics, but the mayor of New York, Mayor de Blasio, he has a black, I believe son, but a black child. And when a lot of the Eric Garner case and all, was very in the mind of people, he also mentioned Mayor de Blasio said, he just made a statement, he said, well, I have to tell my black child, whenever you're pulled over by a police officer, be very careful. He didn't say they were bad, though they are. He said, just be careful, Well, when the New York PD, the biggest crybabies in the world I've ever seen are police. Firefighters get killed in the line of duty. I don't hear crying for years and years. Oh my God, they set that house fire. Oh, but when you die in the line of duty, doing your job, that's what you signed on for. I do not justify any killing. The thing that upsets me is the many murders committed by police. These you've seen on video, immediate lying about the murders, lying, disgracing the blood of those people you murdered, by lying about it, by dropping tasers next to their bodies while their blood is still pouring out, their heart's still pumping the last breath of life, and instead of you helping the person you shot, the first thing in your mind is to plant evidence to disgrace the blood of the person you murdered by planting evidence, which is saying, oh, he did this, and then he has no voice to say you planted that. Officer Slager dropping a taser next to the body of the man he shot. So, New York PD, why? When Mayor de Blasio made that one statement, they had an all-out war of the cops. They began not making arrests. We know this. They deny it. We know it. They began driving past the house of the person who videotaped Eric Garner. They turned their backs on de Blasio. A bunch of crybabies. And then when they get in their vehicles and they go to work in the morning, is it to enforce law? No. Anybody who videotaped our murderous habits, we pursue them. Women, children, we pursue them. That's why you're not in the category of firefighters. That's why. So this very simple thing that I'm covering on this case with this deputy in Jim Wells County, when I spoke to that lady, explained to her, then finally she said, well, if you're going to make a complaint, we need they knew who it was. They knew the name of the deputy that broke the law. should be fired. But instead of their minds saying, wow, we got a deputy out there that's putting false things on vehicles, saying these vehicles are abandoned, and he's doing that out of retaliate. Instead of that, the first thing in the mind of the woman I spoke to that's in charge of that supervisor there at the Jim Wells Sheriff's Department, first thing was, well, now you need to prove that one of our officers is out breaking the law, though you know, because you know who it was, you got the name. So that's what I'm trying to show you. At the fire department, we had a new truck once, a new pumper. It was 120. I hope they don't have it no more, or if they do, it's probably old, they replaced it. But it was a pumper. But that truck, we pull it into the garage stalls, and it was not funny, but if you didn't, it was an automatic, and it was an automatic that when you parked it, it had to be in neutral. It's not real safe, but it had to be in neutral gear when you parked. So that truck could roll if you forgot to put the air brakes on. It happened about 3 times. Now, nobody was ever hurt, but I mean, it was kind of ridiculous because that truck right across the street from the Kingsville Fire Department was the National Guard Armory. And the truck would roll out. And because there's water, we carry water. I don't know if that one carried about 750 gallons of water or what. But the amount of water in the truck, water in the tanks for fire trucks that hold water, you have baffles, you have little walls. Because if you're driving a big truck like that and you have 1,000 gallons or 800 gallons of water, that water starts swaying. So you have things. But water sways in those trucks. So when we backed that truck up, if you did not put those air brakes on, you didn't know right away that that truck was going to roll out. But after the water swayed for about a minute, people would come in and say, your fire truck just crashed into the fence of the National Guard Armory. And it did it a few times. And I kidded one day, I mean, nobody was hurt. I said, geez, when the federal government says what to the National Guard, what is your greatest threat in Kingsville, ISIS or Al-Qaeda? The Kingsville Fire Department. But I share that to say one time I had a Christian friend of mine, I won't give his name, at the firehouse. And sometimes the guys, we finally started putting wheel chocks in front of those tires. But he forgot to do it, and it happened on his watch. He pulled that truck in. He was the temporary driver that day. And nobody was hurt, but they asked, did you put the air brakes on? It crashed in the fence again. And immediately he denied. Now I know he didn't put the air brakes on, but the normal in-house thing. And I remember one time we had a rule against smoking. The city made an ordinance, no more smoking in the firehouse. And of course the guys were mad. I don't think I smoked at that time. But we had a captain, Richard Wood. He'd smoke, and there was a little substation, a small firehouse called Station 2. And I mean, he'd smoke that whole building out because it was small. And if you were on the other side, you know, you were getting headaches and getting sick. And I get somebody pulling up. So, oh yes, I'm doing a Christian video.
Okay, brother.
Thank you, brother. He saw my car parked here. He thought maybe he saw me like this guy looks like he's literally going off the wall. So the captain would, of course, he kept smoking no matter what, even though the rule was out. Well, then the other guys came on duty, and they would complain. The whole Station 2 was filled with smoke every day. So they had to investigate. And they knew I wasn't going to lie. So finally, the chief came over. I'm doing an investigation. I got to investigate. And so, you know, Richard Wood, he was my friend. And I didn't want to give him up, and but I wasn't going to lie. And so when the chief's doing the investigation, he's like, John, Richard Wood doesn't smoke over here, does he? So he saw I was going to say, well, so he said, did you see him smoking today? And I couldn't remember. So I thought, for a second, I started thinking, today, did I see him smoke? So at that moment, the chief knew, of course, Wood's smoking. So immediately he'd say, okay, I got enough information. It's inherent with supervisors and all. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when you have maybe an officer doing illegal activity, the mindset is not, when it comes to the attention of the police chief or the sheriff, the mindset is not, let's get down and dirty and fight. The mindset is, this will make us look bad, with a contract negotiation. The mindset is to cover up. But what you're doing in the case of the fire department, you might be covering up that you smoked, but in the case of when you cover up for corrupt cops, you're doing that at the expense of the citizens. And then if a complaint comes from a citizen and you cover that up, and that cop goes back out and says, oh, my job is, I might wait a few months, but I'm going to do what I can to get that guy or his family or whatever. So this is why I'm telling you, the culture of civilian departments and all, it's untenable. It's untenable. And when you saw that all-out rebellion with the New York City Police Department, it showed you that their job was, we will no more make arrests, we will let all this, because we're crying like a bunch of crybabies, which shows you they will not fulfill their functions, or they will cross the line and break the law, which they did when they harassed that family of the boy who videotaped the murder of Eric Garner. So I'm trying to let you see, it is not a culture of, we are here to enforce law. It's not that. It's a culture of, if any of our men are involved with illegal activity, we will cover that up. We will pursue the people that reveal the illegal activity. We will do all we can. When I reported that sheriff's deputy to the lady there in Alice, her first response should have been, well, we got a guy out there that retaliated. No, the response was, well, now, if we're in trouble, like the smoking thing, but you're covering up law breaking. So this is why you see me that way. This is the second. Today I'll probably post, or before this one there'll be another one, and then I'm going to do the teaching one I made like yesterday morning. So you're just kind of seeing a little bit. I like the song Chicago, so I went 13 minutes. Oh, I should show you what I went to the flea market. Let me show you. And I'm just looking around for stuff at the flea market. And, I'll tell you this. I'm doing the little circus thing at my house, carnival. So this was, I asked the lady, I said, how much for this thing? And they couldn't speak English, but 50 cents. And that's a good deal. So I gave her $1, and then she was getting the money at change. I said, honey, just keep the $1. Oh, thank you. So that was a little offering. Okay. God bless.